take us out of the purgatory of audio. Hello. Welcome, chat, to another failed portrayal. I am sorry that the image is currently very slightly lopsided, but as Axe pointed out this week and Loth pointed out last week, the preview thumbnail when you're waiting for the stream to go live, hella compressed. We've been live for like a minute and a half. I hope YouTube lets me say hella. So I pulled up the full-size version, which is still a little pixelated because I have to resize things to make them work. But yeah, this is... You know, this is where we're at.
It's also the awkward bit of when you're waiting for the premiere or the preview, it locks you into like theater mode instead of like normal mode, so like the resolution's just screwed to hell.
You listen, premieres, good concept, still a little rough. Don't know if they do anything. Don't know if YouTube will continue this feature or if in 2 years.
They're basically pre-recorded live streams.
Yeah, basically, you can react live, and that works and that's functional. But you know, we'll see. In 2 years, YouTube will say, and so we declare nobody ever used premieres, so we're stopping it because.
I'm gonna people use them a lot because it also lets you tell people ahead of time when you're posting a thing.
Well, yeah. I don't actually know if they're underused, but it does kind of seem like YouTube could run them out. Anyway, we're not here to discuss the YouTube business. We're here to discuss Witchcrafters, because we are continuing our saga of going through deck build packs,
Where'd you get that
which is
icon
very relevant. That's the Witchcrafter crest. I think it was printed somewhere in one of the master guides, probably. But yeah,
I've been online for too much where I look at that logo and I just think it's very suspect.
Uh-huh, yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah.
I wear the scissors.
You are the Twitter freak.
The scissors and the hammer don't, I think, negate that for me.
Yeah, and?
Well, let's just talk, you know, if you're considering the placement of your Yu-Gi-Oh! Themed tattoo, be very careful about this one.
I was gonna ask a question, but I have no idea how to word it, so I'm just gonna move on.
If you can try and workshop it in text in Discord if you have to.
Okay, it's just like
don't worry. I've got time wizards.
It's way too full of landmines. Also, no.
Okay, all right. We'll leave it alone.
Tattooed on me somewhere because time has not been kind to me.
Good, solid. Okay. Hold on, I'm gonna take a sip of water. No, I'm not. My heckin' bottle of water's across the room. Okay, I'm gonna run across the room and grab my bottle of water. I don't know what it's doing over there, but that's where it is.
You can hear him get further away.
Okay. Now that I have the water, and I am approaching the microphone again, I seamlessly sit back down and drink my water. And now I'm gonna put my headphones back on.
As I grab my... Yeah, you're drinking water, I just grab my conveniently placed bottle of Coke.
Mega, there's my landmine question. I put it in the chat. I'm gonna delete that now.
Okay, yes. That is a... Listen, I also had that. I was pretty sure Loth meant it one way, but I also was thinking about looking at it when Loth started talking. I was like, ooh, are we going to get somewhere? No, we're fine.
I was saying the other one I was thinking about was worse. And
yeah, no. But we're not going to get into it. We're not here for that. We're here to show you cards of ladies who are skillful. These witches. So, Witchcrafter... well, spoilers, Loth. No, they won't. Because Witchcrafter, I feel like, is a decently popular archetype. It was one of the 3 that made it into Magnificent Mavens, aka the Secret Shiny Box, which included Mayakashi and also Sky Striker, which I believe, as we've just announced a new round of alt arts to go with the couple of new extra deck cards I think we may have talked about last time, continues to be the single most pushed Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetype of all time that isn't, like, Blue Eyes or DM.
So, question. Is the Cosmic Magician a part of this, or, like, they just adjacent?
Akashic? No, I don't think Akashic, Downerd, and, oh, what's the third one in that group? Not Akashic, not Downerd. There's a second link. I don't remember her name. No, Summon Sork is... I'm pretty sure Summon Sork's just an anime monster.
It's a random.
Yeah. There's another Xyz blah 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 magician. The Witchcrafters are not necessarily directly related to that. We'll go through their spell traps, so we'll see if there's like any backdrop in there. It may be that those Xyz and that one Link Lady. It's the... By the way, the 2 cards I'm thinking of are the ones that are on Arrival Rivals.
Yes.
It's
Gotcha.
they are plugged into the Magical University Oeuvre.
Like they basically run the town outside the
Yes,
college.
they are. The actual plot seems to be that. So basically, there's a trade city just outside Endymion's Citadel.
Basically, where an Atelier game would be, essentially.
Yeah. And the main thing we know is that Vare fucking quit after whatever happened with Magistus.
De-aged yourself.
What's his
and then
face?
a bunch of
I
land.
don't remember that guy. The synchro monster, the guy who definitely like exploded into fire. It's something Indian. Is it? It's not a Vitamra?
Was it Trismegistus?
He became like a guy. Yeah, Trismegistus
He
is
blew
the card.
up.
He
Endymion
exploded into
assault.
fire. Endymion decided to like go up
Run
in
the
his creepy
college.
tower, and I'm pretty sure Alistair went, crazy with power.
Alistair actually broke out of his confinement, I think, because he was in a containment chamber for most of it.
I don't remember the exact timeline.
I think he broke out and then just kind of went a bit crazy.
Vare used to
Or
be
he got kind of
Ramona,
being a bit
and
crazy.
she quit. And also, you'll see this. I may do this side by side, but we're gonna meet witchcrafter Jenny in a minute. She is definitely used to be the card named Servant of Endymion, and she also quit. So, basically, you could call this archetype.
Pants, I'm out.
Can we
Vare
do
sells out.
side-by-sides?
Vare sells out, and then Vare ditches her own squad. We'll get into the conclusion of this story later, but yeah. So there's
Granny became
a
True
trade
Granny.
city specializing in magical commerce, just outside of Endymion's Citadel, which Vare runs an all-girl, magical craftsman group.
Endymion.
There's crossover with Magistus, with Endymion, and thus effectively with by proxy with a lot of general pen magician cards, spell counter cards, and obviously Invoked, who we've covered already. So we will not talk about the direct crossover Magistus cards because Magistus is also a deck build pack deck. So we'll get in there. But
I would still like to see the before and after.
well, we'll talk about the Rilonas and stuff, like I said, when we get to, because those are just straight up Magistus cards.
Yeah, you just have
We
to
will
wait.
talk about them later. I'll probably show Servant of Endymion's art just so people can see the one-to-one, because some people may go, oh, are they the same? And I'm like, I'm looking at the images side by side, so yes. But I'll show the people the before and after for that.
Also,
part
his
at least.
first thing that she basically de-aged herself to be like, I would
Yes.
forever stay young. Okay.
I don't know if it's because she forever stay young. That I will spoil some slight stuff. I don't think we actually know a lot about Vare as a character. Like, we just know that she runs the guild, and that the version of her that is an adult woman with the same colored hair, even though she is called Riliona the Magistus of Vare, so Vare's in her name, but of her Magistus version. But like, we don't know a lot about why she did anything. She just like used to be Magistus. Now she is, Madame Vare, the small one. And then she takes a lot of vacations and fucks off.
It just feels like the background to like a Grim Grimoire game, honestly.
Yes, it's very much got that feel of like one of those types of, I don't really know what like subgenre of JRPG you'd call that, but
Gothic whimsy.
like the Atelier games you mentioned earlier and stuff, like, when you mix the JRPG with the crafting or the mechanics, the economics of like a Racketeer game type shit. Very much in that feel. So this is probably why this deck is super popular, despite the fact that it has basically always been kind of bad. They have literally one top ever in 2019, and they only made it to top 64 once. So, Witchcrafter is a deck that has a very consistent strategy, has a lot of strong effects. They are well balanced between a collection of main deck monsters and of spell traps, mostly spells, but they do have a couple traps that like synergize very well. There's a couple of unique interactions. The problem is that even with their new fusion monster, which has been out for several years, they still don't have a lot of payoff. And in fact, the better fusion monster to make is to use, I joked about this in the description, but it's to use Magicalized Fusion to banish 5 Witchcrafters from your graveyard and make Quintet Magician, who is just, well, fuck you, die.
Yeah.
So the Spellcaster Union.
Yeah.
As in unionized spellcasters.
Yeah,
Spellcasters
basically.
unionize.
You bring them all together, and just the power of collective bargaining means that your opponent dies. So that's kind of like where they're at, is that they're a very consistent strategy, and you will occasionally see some of them packaged in another kind of spellcaster deck. But for some reason, Konami just refuses to give them a cool, extra deck monster that actually, like, does something on its own. And is, you could very easily make just locked to Witchcrafters. You don't have to make it spellcaster soup. But I don't know. Konami is sometimes weird about what they decide when they want to do stuff. So Witchcrafter is obviously a pretty good pun. Witchcraft, but crafter. They're just Witchcraft in the OCG, but obviously that's not a pun in English. And also, Satanic Panic
How's
still
that
exists.
Japanese?
It's pronounced Witchcraft.
Oh, okay. It's okay.
It's phonetically Witchcraft, which is similar to Witchcrafter because it's got ends in a vowel. But yeah, they have some great names. I love the Japanese name for this. It's Hexverka with a K. The Spanish is Artibruja. Sadly, the French is really long. It's Artisan Sorcier.
Okay.
Again,
Yeah, no, it's still the element. It's just it's funny
Crafters
that
it's weird is you can read that as crafters of a magical variety.
yes, but it's funny how in French they have very long nouns for that. But yeah, so the general vibe is the names of, in English anyway, and I think how they translate in the OCG. I'll double check with Jenny's name. Yeah. So all of them have a name that is in a non-English language, a name for a type of art or something related to art, usually. So that's kind of the theme we're going for. So we're going to run through the monsters. I'm going to do them in ascending level order, basically, because that's usually kind of how the deck building works. And like I said, they haven't really added a lot to the main deck. I think the only monster they added that was later support was Aruru. Yeah, that's in Rising Rampage. So I don't know if they've
actually might explain the charger. I see.
So there's some interesting comment to be made about how they just like, because here's the thing, I don't actually think that while they do like count up to level 8, they have multiple level 8s. So because you've got Vare and Aruru. So like I don't think this is an archetype where they're like locked into the theme. I don't know if they, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. With Vare and Aruru, there's 8 anyway, so we already have, like, redundant attributes. So, yeah, I just don't know why Konami doesn't print, like, 4 more in different arts. Anyway, let's start this process.
Honestly, it reminds me, it makes me think, this is just a Konami thing. I think Konami might just it might be like Lisengo, who has, like, they have, like, a queue of 6 months ahead of time of things they choose to do. And, like, I don't know how long dev time takes in, like, QA.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain Yu-Gi-Oh! Does have a backlog because they're they're printing multiple sets per year.
Illusion was probably in the works for over a year or two, probably.
Ooh, probably. Like they would have known what they wanted to do for the anniversary year, probably for a while. And honestly, probably had to talk to some guys. Like I would not be surprised if some of these things were in the works before.
They talked to the estate,
died. Yeah. I'm gonna assume while it is also an anniversary year, I strongly suspect that the gold sarcophagus of light themed monsters they have brewed up, maybe like Konami's nod at a tribute to Kaz.
That deck works as a deck, but it's bad.
Yeah, it doesn't have all the payoff, but it's funny.
Well, it's because it's like what was the mummy deck again?
Can you let her make it continue? Witchcraft this, please.
We're boiling out a lot of stuff. So let's pull up Jenny. Witchcrafter Jenny is just Witchcrafter Jenny. Jenny in this case is... hold on, I have to click back like 4 times.
It reminds me of Arborea from Crusadia Arborea.
Well, she's not an elf, but the color scheme's very similar.
Yeah, I can see that.
Jenny in this case is... could be the same artist, I'm not actually sure.
It looks very similar.
Jenny in this case is French for genius, so just she's smart. And
It looks like she's the. Yeah.
She's the level 1, like I said, because we're going in ascending level order.
Oh,
So
she's making scrolls. That's what she's doing.
one of your starters, and also get ready for funny extendo art with pendulums.
Is there a master guide that talks about what they all do?
Let me check what the guide says. I think it just like says normally, other than genius, it's a lot more explicit. Like our next card is Witchcrafter Poterie. That's French for pottery. So she pots things.
I can't tell if it's due to perspective, but she looks incredibly shorter as servant.
I think it's also like she's floating.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume the like perspective or the framing is different in servant because it's the extendo art for pendulum.
So you're not telling me how bad this is, but I've now understood that I think Endemian's dress code involves magic orbs and masks.
No, I mean,
Konami
he's the spell
orbs.
counter guy. I think his the dress code of the Citadel does involve Konami orbs. Like, I'm not that surprised. Also, I just realized, Loth, it's very funny that you said that you think she looks shorter as servant. You can't quite see them, but she's definitely wearing high heels as servant, and I think she might be wearing flats as Jenny.
Also, she's got the same kind of she's got almost the same kind of leggings, and
yeah,
she took obviously I guess are those are meant to be like bells? I think those are bells.
Yeah, I think they're bells.
I think she took the frame of one and made it into like a wood
she made it into like a
staff.
She's got like similar like gloves, very similar hairstyle. Though this is one that only our FGO
took the orbs and turned them into like the brambles
playing
on the
audience
staff.
will get, or Fate audience. Notice how she has the idiot hair, the ahoge.
Oh.
As Jenny, and it doesn't really show up in her Endymion art, so it's like
it's the hat, yeah.
It's the alter and non-alter versions.
Or
as we like to play with the hair placement.
Caster and then Avenger or something.
Some silly, yeah. Though when you say that, I'm like, my first thought is assassin, because like those.
Oh yeah.
These fucking weird bell things look sharp. I would not want to get poked in the eye with one of those.
Honestly, I think she took all the spikes out of both of them and maybe the bell bits to add all them to her staff, or she turned the spell counters into them.
Yeah, but clearly one of these is like trying too hard, and then this is her being like, oh my god, I've left the world of dark academia and I'm just chilling. Also,
it's weird that I feel like she was meant to be like secret school police, and now she's just, hey, I make scrolls. I make books.
Let's see. Do we have any inclination about like, because servant is a very important card. I believe it was limited for many years. Let's see.
It's funny.
Servant gets a spell counter every time you activate a card, and you can remove 3 spell counters to special summon her. And 1 card monster from your deck that you can put a spell counter on with 1,000 or more attack. Okay, yeah. So she just fucking. That's right. Servant just gets Endymion.
Oh, you can at least tell Jenny is later because her hair is longer.
It's true. She's grown out her hair. She's relaxing more. Also, they do have the same type and attribute. They're both wind spellcasters. But funnily enough, and I don't know if it necessarily means anything, but let me grab Jenny's stats really quick to read out to people, because I'm not done talking about art and stuff, but I want to play this round. So Jenny is a wind spellcaster. She's level 1. She has 300 attack, 500 defense. Servant of Endymion is a level 3 spellcaster with 900 attack, 1500 defense. So she's roughly 3 times stronger as a card as Servant than she is as Jenny. So interesting parallels there. And you can see in the background, she's got a little safe with the spell counter symbol on it.
Yep.
Also, by the way, I think I was mentioning this earlier, but we got sidetracked in another visual detail. The backgrounds for Witchcrafters, way better than like some of these Endymion cards. Like, Servant is just
it's pendulum art, so yeah.
Yeah, chilling in the pendulum zone, the skylights. This is like in a little office where she's making the scrolls for Witchcrafter scrolls. She's got a lot of books.
Oh, I just noticed the bottom right corner. There's the spell counter block box.
I did just say that, X. Yes.
Oh.
It's okay. You didn't respond, so I assume you were thinking about something else.
Yeah, I thought you were just talking about the background itself. Sorry.
No, sorry. I circled it on my cursor as well. Yeah, she's got a lockbox that has the spell counter. Or she probably
there's a
keeps
delay
more
on the
spell
stream.
counters.
Right, there's a delay on the stream.
Yes, sorry. It takes a second. Loth also had to duck out for a sec. Hopefully you'll be right back.
I just had this little weird vibe with Servant that she feels like the person that like Endemian claps and she shows up from like the shadows of being like, "What do you need, Master?"
I mean, yes, probably, but also it's funny because, like I said, that's Servant's pendulum effect is if you get 3 counters on her, you summon her out of your pendulum zone and then grab any monster you can put a spell counter on with 1,000 or more attack. So she summons Endymion.
I just imaged the dumb thing in my head of like if it was an anime, it'd be like you put her down, she's like floating in the air chanting, and then one spell counter goes in one bell, one goes the other, and goes in front of her, and she just makes a portal for her master to show up.
Just like hops through. Yeah. So, let's see. Don't need that up. Jenny. Yes, Jenny is one of your basic ins. Oh, and she is actually a later support. Okay, that's so. This is when they decided they were going to do more levels, so they added her in addition to assault. I said her stats already, and she says during the main phase, quick effect: tribute this card, discard a spell. Witchcrafters do a lot of stuff with discarding spells or otherwise putting them in your graveyard for reasons we'll get into. Special summon a Witchcrafter from your deck except Jenny. So she's still a fetch from deck, just like she was as Servant. You can banish this card and 1 Witchcrafter spell from your graveyard. This effect becomes that spell's effect when that card is activated. You can only use each effect of Jenny once per turn. So Jenny, you tribute her to summon from deck and discard a spell, and then when she's in the graveyard, you can banish her and the spell you discarded to still activate the spell's effect. Given that she seems to mostly be, as you brought up way earlier, like writing or copying scrolls, that makes a lot of sense that she's just, working on all their other spells and spell effects. So yeah, that is the Jenny. Let's grab our next one, whose name I already mentioned. It's Portrayal.
It's time for pot.
Funnily enough, she's called Pottery, but she's not actually making pots.
What?
Yeah, because pottery is just ceramics. So she's making adorable clay animals.
Okay, you know what? Fair.
I wish I understood how old the child was, because I don't think she's a child, but I think she is.
No, I think she might be young. I mean, we'll see. We'll double check in some of the spell arts.
Guys, best thing. There's a tiny little clay man in a pocket.
Yeah, there's a little guy in her front pocket.
It's a little guy.
There's a symbol there too, actually, yeah.
Yeah, and she's wearing, an official branded apron to kind of, for the clay
I want
splotches.
to see her coat hoodie up, because it looks like there's a hoodie thing to it.
Oh, it might be a hood, yeah. But it's down now because this little clay dinosaur is eating it. That's adorable. And it looks like she just, magically...
And made these.
Yeah.
I guess she's,
them up.
mind sculpting them?
Yeah.
Look, okay, so next to the dinosaur is a slime in the upper left. There's just some guys who are just looking like that.
Like, she just made them, and then the little, magic bubble goes away, and they just fall, and you're like, ah!
This is also, why do I exist?
I can't tell. Is this guy screaming in existential terror, or does he have a mustache? You decide, chat.
I think mustache.
I think it's a mouth, actually, because I think she was just... I don't think she was done with him.
But yeah.
All the marks there look like I've done actual stenciling with clay, and it's like that's a mark you have with a carving knife and stencils, the stencil blade.
Do a little bit of work, yeah.
The dinosaur one's the actually finished one.
Also, I do like that her whole, you can see she's got her entire kiln back here and her stacks of firewood and stuff. So she does actually seem to fire the clay, and you can see some vases and stuff in the back.
I guess she's basically making golems. I guess tiny golems, household golems.
So, Witchcrafter Pottery is an Earth spellcaster, level 2. She has 0 attack, 2k defense, because, obviously, you want this small child to fight men? No. During your main phase, you contribute this card and, discard a spell to summon a Witchcrafter from deck, except Pottery. I think most of the lower level ones have this effect. So yeah, you get to discard spell, summon. If you have no cards in your hand, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target any Witchcrafter card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. Witchcrafters, by the way, do have a lot of Banish from Graveyard effect, if I haven't mentioned that before, so this is another one where you want to run probably Pot of Acquisitiveness. I believe it's Acquisitiveness is slurp back 3 Banished cards draw. But yeah, so but pretty normal stuff, you know. Lets you recycle cards, and obviously because a lot of them have this tribute effect, it's, you know, easy to cycle them into the graveyard to use those.
Yep.
Okay, this one's a little... You guys will see and can tell me if I'm talking crazy. Our next one is Witchcrafter. So this is Pitore, which is painting, or paint. Now, I'm looking at this and I'm like, something feels off about her body proportions. I don't know if it's because her hair is huge.
I'm not the only one then.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I need you guys to double check me. Like, she...
So, where I put it is, it feels like her face is on a different layer of the design, so it feels like it's just not the same face hair of her body.
Yeah, like, her head seems a little too big for her torso length and her legs, but she is also, like, leaning back. I think the artist may have just goofed her perspective.
It's like that weird thing where it's like your head's forward, but your chest is back and your legs are forward.
Yeah, it's like she's forming a C shape with her body, which can't be comfortable. Other than that, I think this art is good, very colorful. I like that aspect. I like her...
it'd all be fun is like
giant
supporting characters in like an Atelier game, which being like the other merchants you share the street with.
Or even just like your party members and some like funny stuff, because they'd all like play differently.
You know what this has the same energy as? The Weather Rainbow.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I do feel like there's some aesthetic connections to weather painters. Yeah. I like that she's got both big paints and little paints, you know, for different stuff. It looks like she's got like her paint gun holstered. And again, lots of different like in the backdrop, just like all these different little like swatches of like color squares and stuff.
Her hair is a paintbrush too, or some nonsense.
Yeah. And also, it's interesting that, like, obviously, so the way that this talks about the guild is it says in Master Guide 6, it's very brief, but they do say that, like, each of the different members of the guild, like, have a different specialty, but also they work together to do more. So, for instance, Pitore is painter, and obviously she was working with, like, normal visual arts paints, but it also says that she helps Hain, who is, her name is Clothes, so she is, you know, about sewing, dye the clothes that she makes. So, you know, they work together, they collaborate, almost like that's a card that comes later, a spell card, to do better. So yeah, other than her perspective being a little weird, I think Pitore is looking all right. So Pitore is a water spellcaster, level 3, 1,000 attack, 1,500 defense. She has the normal effect during the main phase to quick effect. You can tribute, discard, and summon. You can banish it from your graveyard to draw a card, and then send a Witchcrafter card from your hand to the graveyard, or if you have none, banish your entire hand. So she's basically a lure of Witchcrafter. And I do believe that that's decently enough of a good card, especially depending on what's in your hand anyway, that you can make that work. I don't know how played Pitore is. Jenny obviously is a really great starter because like she does the tribute effect. She's a 1-for-1 target, etc. And Pottery lets you get your guys back. But the funny part is that a lot of the like half of the level 4s that you can normal summon, like Pottery and Pitore, you know, Painter and Pottery, they're okay. They're all right. Jenny's pretty good because she can just banish to do one of your spell effects. And our next one we're going to bring up is, you know, one of your really good ones because she lets you graveyard setup. So they have an issue with their low levels being a lot of setup stuff and not going all the way. Anyway, this is Witchcrafter Shmeta. This means
young looking.
blacksmith. Yeah, she looks like she's still young and sporty. Definitely like getting those Altair vibes though, with like her hot pants and also like 4 pouches.
Yeah, She looks like an Atelier character.
It's just weird to me that I feel like you remember like the Dragon Market Street game we played once?
Yeah.
I feel like Konami, if they really tried, they could make a bunch of just alternative media things to sell about their property because a lot of different designs. I feel like they could just make a game like that.
I mean, they do sometimes. Like I feel like especially this year, Konami is stepping up like physical merchant stuff. I don't think they're super interested in like because they already produce a fuck ton of cardboard. Remember, in Japan they would produce Rush as well.
So clearly, Counter Fury that made deck building game, but instead it's Dragon Maids.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's potential for some more solid stuff, but I can understand if Konami's not eager to jump off and like split their market even more, because I think Dungeon Dice did kind of fail.
Yeah, Konami, go find Gust, pay them some money to make an Atelier game because they're always a bit low on money.
I could see that collab.
Wait,
yeah, I mean, there's
potential.
Work. But yeah, I don't know what the hell this tool is. I think it's supposed to be like her Smith hammer, but also it looks like it's like
switch axe
calipers, and yes, also might turn into an axe blade or something.
Or a charge blade. Actually,
it's probably a magic staff, but still. But this girl is, by the way, I appreciate Schmidta because she's red, but also this girl is anime as fuck. Like she's got like a choker with, I think, like a little pair of like blacksmith's tongs for like the neck piece. Notice how her belt buckle has fucking steampunk tubes. Yeah, she's got big gloves. She's got 4 belts on her shoes and 4 pouches because she's level 4. Get it?
I just feel like she looks a bit young.
Yeah, I mean, they're all drawn a little young. I think, especially with Jenny's name being Genius.
I thought she looked to be older when I read the card, but card resolution.
Yeah, but I think they're just, they're supposed to be, young ladies who are all grouped up
14,
they're good.
Which is not great.
I mean, she's old enough to fucking wield a giant iron stick.
I'm not gonna go there.
Anyway, Schmidta is the fire one. She's level 4. She's got 1800 attack and 600 defense. She has the normal, tribute, discard, summon. Banish a card from your graveyard, send a witchcraft card from your deck to your graveyard except Schmidta. You only use each effect of Schmidta once per turn. So Schmidta basically, lets you do lots of graveyard setup. And also is like your largest normal summon. So very essential to the deck. This is also kind of like I don't want to say the problem, but one of the issues the deck suffers from is the lack of normals. Because we're about halfway through their monster lineup, and we've hit, as I said, their one and only level 4. That means all of their other monsters are higher level.
That is the problem when it comes to some decks. And it's just like, oh, there's not enough normal summons that don't need tributes.
Yeah.
Or...
I mean, you can special summon all of them from your deck by their tributing effect, but the problem is, what do you do when it's turn 1 and you draw a handful of nothings but level 5s and up, like Adel?
I just think of Cashier as, like, inherently have a way to make that work if you have cards inherently just special themselves, which is most decks need nowadays.
Cashier was designed to be a 7-axis deck, so they needed a way to summon them out. You also have access to Cashier of Birth to just normal summon 7s.
Another archetype that this shares that problem with is good old Fortune Ladies.
Yeah, Fortune Ladies.
You've got 3 Earths in hand.
Fortune Ladies at least have a couple of modern support tools to make that a little easier, but it's very similar. It's like, okay, how do you play your ratio so you've got enough of the monster effects you want, but also, have enough to get in there. Also, by the way, I mentioned earlier, this is Adel. That's, basically gem, short for gemstone, so she is a jeweler. You can see because she's got the calipers and a giant fucking ruby.
I think I'm using this river, but I like how glitzy this girl is.
Yes, she is covered in, like, little gems and, like, glitter everywhere. Her inner dress sparkles, she's got, like, gems and stars all around her hair and stuff. She's covered in jewelry and she's ready to rock. Also, honestly, with those hair colors... Her hair colors are basically the inverse of Vare's. Vare is, like, blue main color with, like, pink highlights. She's kind of, like, got, like a light purple almost indigo highlights and pink hair. My first thought when seeing this blown up is like, oh, is Adel supposed to be related to Vare?
I can see that too, but I also could see it like being
eye color?
she's also probably one of the older ones of like the street of like
No, Vare's
of the
eyes are
Union.
blue. Okay. Yeah. Well, and I mean, I think their age and relative seniority goes up as their stars go up because Vare is an 8, Hain is a 7. So yeah, I think that is actually intended. Jenny is probably the lowest ranked because she's the newest.
Oh, it's probably how long you've been in the Union.
Yeah, something like that in the guild. Great backdrop, by the way. These fucking gem like bonsai, rad. Love that effect.
Mm-hmm.
Things that are not normally crystals being crystals, super cool.
Her gems literally grow on trees.
Well, she is magic. Anyway, Adel looks rad. Let me remind myself if she is rad. Adel is a level 5 light spellcaster, 2k attack, 2300 defense. Quick effect: discard a spell, special summon a witchcrafter from your hand, except Adel. You can tribute this card, target a spellcaster in your graveyard, except Adel, summon it. You can only use each effect of Adel once per turn. Yes, so Adel is missing a line of text that I think all level 5 monsters you're supposed to use for combo plays should say, which is they should be Sidras. Obviously, I do think Adel, like...
Sorry.
Yeah,
I took that completely different way, which is when this card is on the field, its name becomes...
Yeah, no, you're thinking of it literally. I know, it's funny.
Well, just, other way you could say that, though, you also say, like, fuck, I forgot the name of it. God, it's the Galaxy, what was it, the Galaxy Knight? No.
Photon Dragon?
No,
no,
I'm thinking about the level 5 Galaxy. You can sacrifice a light machine to search.
I don't remember that one.
Basically the Galaxy card Cyber Dragons run.
Yeah, it's a weird guy. I can, like, picture in my head, but can't remember his name. Anyway.
Also, Moth is correct. Sorry to interrupt you, Omega. All these witchcrafters seem like it would be like an isekai manga.
I mean, they like have. I think it would
like,
work well for the slice of life shit. So I think that would work out
yeah.
great. Yeah, it probably is a photon monster. Should I saying? But yeah, so Adel is one of those cards where I think she's good because she lets you set up spells in your graveyard and get witchcrafters out of your hand. Because I'm fairly certain. Let me just pull up Schmidt to double check, but I'm pretty sure that says deck. Yeah, so you can only summon from deck with your level 4s. The problem is that this means that Adel is a brick. She's a garnet. You don't want to draw her. You want her in the deck. But
oh god,
that means that you have to have enough copies to get her out of there. Yeah, I know. It's very funny. The witchcrafter named after gems is a garnet. But yeah, so like this is kind of the problem they have where you run into a couple of their high-level monsters are arguably garnets. You do not want to draw them because you can only summon from deck. But that means if you do draw them, you brick. But then, it makes ratios difficult because it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, you can run one Adel because she's just an extender. But what do you do when you draw your one of Adel? Then you've truly drawn the garnet and you're like, well, I can't use her summon effect on herself, so we're here. It gets awkward because your normal summons are at a premium. Oh, though, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Hain, are you a 7 or are you a 6? You are a 7. Okay, so there is no 6. Konami, come on, help me out here. Give them a 6 that can inherently summon itself. There's nothing wrong with level 6s.
Stopping on Photon Strike Bouncers.
I mean, there really isn't. I don't know if you even run Photon Strike Bowser anymore.
I mean, it's a negate. That's really it nowadays, and it's not that much. It's not that much of a negate.
It's not. Yeah, I don't even think it's that much of a negate. Yeah. Oh, okay. Chris, I remembered. It's Galaxy Soldier. We're thinking. Yes, I thought it might be that guy, but I'm like,
okay.
I exactly remember him. No.
Nice.
But yeah. So the problematic rank 6 is Beatrice, but you can also just solve that by getting rid of Beatrice. Anyway, it's Hain. So Schmeda and Adel were German, by the way. We switched up. We had Pittore, which was painter in Italian, pottery and genius. Hain is clothes or clothing in Romanian. Interesting enough, so we've got a wide variety there.
It's weird to say this, but this girl makes you think she'd be in a Tales game.
Okay, I'm not super familiar with Tales, so I can't pick out what.
She kind of has the aesthetic of one.
I could see that. Obviously, I think for being the clothing-related one, she's very fashionable. Like, she's got a very, very, haute couture type cut. Like, you can see the threading, obviously, but she's got, like, high collar, layers over everything. Got, like, short skirt, like, translucent top. kind of a thing. You know, lighter colors.
I can't call her a JoJo character because I feel like it'd be too much of an homage to actual Jotaro.
I mean, yeah. I mean, she's not even doing a JoJo pose either. But yeah, she is kind of wearing her Jotaro cosplay, though with sexy thigh highs. She's got the logo like sewn into her coat, which, like I said, her coat is like really, you know, fashionable nonsense with like crossbars so it stays separate. I do like that you can see her little like stitch like magic. She's got her little, you know, needle ball and her flying threads that she definitely shoots at people, and her giant scissors.
Her magic desk, which is also scissors.
Yeah. Oh no, that's part of her staff. Her desk's like way in the backdrop.
But yeah, her staff breaks open to scissors, it looks like.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely her clothing scissors, her snips. She's got a little bit of the dyed hair, but looks very down to earth. But yeah, so that's Hane, who is officially the as we will see explicitly with a couple of cards later. But Hane is very much definitely the second in command of the guild. She is the second most senior member after Vare. Hane is a dark spellcaster, level 7, like I mentioned. She's got 2,400 attack and 1,000 defense, so she is not the ultimate wizard in forms of attack and defense. But her effects are your opponent can't target other spellcaster monsters you control with card effects. Quick effect, you can discard a spell, target a face-up card your opponent controls, destroy it. You can use this effect of Hane once per turn. So Hane is protection and a once per turn pop. She's a pretty good card to get with one of your summon from decks.
This is just a weird lawtism, but with the way that's pronounced, I'm just thinking Witchcrafter Hane.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not surprised.
But obviously, we now know that, you know, you should not pronounce Hane that way. It's Hane. But yeah. So, actually, yeah, let's do this in a different order. Normally, I would go Golem first, but it makes more sense probably to do that after Vare. So here she is, the smuggest herself.
The Lollibaba.
The big boss, yeah. Witchcrafter, Madame Vare.
She literally is just actual Lollibaba.
Yeah,
like
she's yes. Also, that's literally.
It makes you think of Kura, who basically de-aged herself.
Yes. Before she re-aged herself to perfection.
I'm gonna put it in the Fair Portrayal chat, but she's basically just this emo.
Yes, she is the you know, less than 3 kitty face. She's doing the smug lolly face. Yes.
I could never read that.
So Vare means glass in French, so she is, you know, glassworking, as evidenced by the fact that she is surrounded by literally everything is glass. You know, she's got glass everywhere. She's got like a fur stole on that's double branded, like all about this stuff. She's got a little hair piece that's also a crown that's glass.
Is that also a fucking glass staircase to get up to wherever she's sitting?
Yes. No. She has a floating glass chair, and she has a glass staircase so that she can get up there because she's short now. Vare knows what she's about.
It just feels like she's like in the center of a big room that's like full of lights.
This is probably a bigger room, though. I think she sleeps in a fucking capsule. You guys will see later. It's a very weird card art. But yeah, this is Vare. This is the boss. This is the boss of the guild. She's clearly a woman with business sense. And she's here to rock. And Vare was previously the closest thing, you know, when they originally released in Infinity Changers, the closest thing the deck had to a win con, which isn't even that good, though it does have some decent interaction. Vare is another light spellcaster, so we've already, like I said, we've already got redundant attributes. Hane was dark, in case I did say that, yeah, because I made a joke about Dark Magician. She's a level 8. She's got 1,000 attack, 2,800 defense, so she's definitely defense mode only. During damage calc, if your spellcaster monster battles an opponent's monster, reveal any number of spells with different names in your hand, your battling monster gains 1,000 attack and defense for each card revealed until the end of this turn, so she has an honest type effect. Going back to last week's Bujins, she's got a crow type thing. You can get him with a battle trick. And a second quick effect, you can discard a spell and negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls until the end of this turn. You activate each effect of Vare once per turn. So the once per turn means that if they sequence their attacks, differently, you might have some problems. But she is a, skill drain on legs, and she does have a battle fixing effect, a one-sided skill drain, mind you. So I assume what Konami was thinking was that Witchcrafter would be a control deck where, hypothetically, anything you do can stack to a Vare who has, a quick effect to battle fix and a quick effect to negate on field. The problem, this card was printed in the year 2019. Therefore, hand traps already exist. Vare herself is really easy to get with a Veiler. I think all of your Witchcrafter monsters summoned from deck effects are ashable.
Also, isn't this like post, like, Salad and like?
Oh no, yes, this is peak, pre MR5, Link format. Like this is gonna be like, actually. Let me just grab a random, Yu-Gi-Oh! Top decks. Actually, no, hold on. Hobby Lark has top 10 best decks in 2019. So, you've got Trickstar FTK, Paleos, Dangers. Oh, True Draco was this year. You've got Pendulum Magicians, Altergeist, Goki, the Goki format. Burning Abyss was still cool. You had to deal with Thunder Dragons. Like, 2019 was, I think, Toss was in there somewhere, I think?
Toss was like 20 around then, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it made this, these cards basically are dealing with a circumstance where, like, okay, that's cool that you can negate everybody on field and do a battle trick. So far, with just their monster lineup, this deck is very weak to hand traps. Anti-Spell is unfortunately a card that Konami still allows to exist. I do not know why. Fucking Red Reboot is banned. I think on both sides of the pond, so, like, I don't know why you don't just also put away Anti-Spell Fragrance. Anti-Spell to 2 is not enough, Master Duel. Trust me, I've made it to plat playing Labyrinth. The fact that I can... also, EEV to 1 doesn't work. I play lots of 1-up traps because I can just search whatever the fuck I want. Konami, you may also want to consider doing something about D-Barrier, because I can do some very rude things. Anyway. So Witchcrafter is basically like, Vare's cool and all, but 1 Floodgate on a stick and 1 Battle Trick is not going to do it. And with the exception of Hane as like a quick effect pop, all of their other monsters are just set up. They need some payoff. So Konami gave them some payoff. And then they finally got a big beady stick monster. It's time for their ultimate collab, the big lady herself.
The Battle Golem.
It's Witchcrafter Golem Aruru.
She's more like puppet-like than actually I thought it would be.
Yes. I think Aruru's design is supposed to show that she is a collab between most, if not all, of the girls. Yeah, because she's got like gems and glass like Vare. She's got Hane's needles. She's got a big hammer, which is presumably related to Schmidta. Well, she's also got Hane's scissors. Like she's got like needles, cloth and glass and clay and stuff. Like, so she's got elements of all the squad.
What was the first
she's the Witchcrafter Megazord.
Yeah, basically.
What was that? Jenny, right?
Yes.
She's also got Jenny's crystals at the top of her hat.
No, those are Vare's glass cones, because Jenny wasn't printed yet.
Oh, okay.
This was in 2019 in Rising Rampage. This was a follow-up deck. Also, by the way, I forgot, this card was reprinted in Structure Deck Spirit Jarbers.
I very thought she was that slender, but she's very doll-like, actually, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, understandably why she's doll-like, yeah.
I don't know exactly how tall she's supposed to be, but she's supposed to be fairly big.
Her hammer's not that well balanced.
No, she's a giant, so it doesn't matter. So by the way, you may wonder, like, oh, what art is this supposed to be? It's not supposed to be any art. Her name, alternatively, is the Magistus version of this is called the Glass Goddess, is Ninaruru. Aruru is another name for the goddess Ninhursag, who is one of the ancient Sumerian goddesses. She's a mother goddess, great lady of heaven, goddess of mountains. So, Ninnersog is related to, big guys like Enlil and Enki.
Oh, custodian.
So, yeah, it's calling on a large and more powerful, deity figure, which apparently, we can assume that Vare has recreated as her golem mode. And that says she's got a lot of glass for stuff. But yeah, that's Aruru. So, how do Aruru be? What's her deal? Well, I'll tell you. Aruru is another level 8 light spellcaster. Once again, lots of redundant attributes, Konami. You can print more. Where's the level 6? But she has 2,800 attack, 0 defense. Very much opposite stat line to Vare. Her effect reads, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a spellcaster or monsters you control, or targets it for an attack. Quick effect, target on a card your opponent controls or one witchcraft or spell in your graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. If you do, return the targeted card to the hand. You can use this effect of Aruru once per turn. Once returned during your opponent's end phase, return this card to the hand.
Hey, Omega, a quick thing.
Yeah?
Do they have a level 9 yet?
No. They stop at 8.
They should totally just have a level 9 synchro monster and just have a spell that lets you treat one of the witchcrafters as a tuner.
Or you could just say that text, Cyber Slash, Heartbeat Lady.
Yeah, because they go from 1 to 8. That's like perfect. Just go to 9 numbers, except for 6. But
No, yeah, but they could get a 6. Yeah, that could be an interesting thing. Would also probably have some Magistus tie-in because there is, like I said, there's the Synchro Magistus is the guy who seems to have burst into flame and turned into a dragon bird man, and I think he's dead now. As we often say with Yu-Gi-Oh! Archetypes. I think that guy died. So yeah, Aruru is basically, this is the one of the, the classic Konami Band-Aid cards. They're like, okay, cool, deck build pack came out. Ah, shit, it's not the best one it's not the one good one in the pack. Though, obviously, I think that joke gets less and less good as time goes on.
And they were able to...
Though, I mean, I feel like I want to fucking fact-check MBT. I gotta double-check. He said that Memento's the only one out of... Wild Survivors that seems good. Isn't Centurion written Century Ion or Center Ion in English? Isn't that getting tops in the OCG? I mean, I know it's boring because it's just a King Calamity line, but I was pretty sure Centurion was good.
I remember people doing some tech for it and being like, it has like a negate or two, but afterwards it's just kind of it. So if you beat,
like I said, it's not.
Line, it just kind of falls apart.
It's not. I don't think it's exciting because it's the same End in King Calamity line that like Monodium is making. But like I said, I thought that Centurion was actually like making showing up in percentages. I'll double check my facts later. I think Marth posted an OCG list recently. I haven't heard shit about Memento. I don't think anybody other than the fact that it's retrains of old Yu-Gi-Oh monsters, which is funny, like Trihorn Dragon. I don't think that deck has been doing fucking anything. Anyway, they came out with the ultimate Band-Aid card. Aruru is a big monster. She can beat up guys. Also, she's not a brick. You actually want her in hand because on field she does jack shit other than be, big and return herself to your hand. Though you have to be careful because this is during your opponent's standby phase she returns, so if you summon her out on your turn with the summon effects from deck, she will immediately fuck off, which can be bad for you. But remember, the Witchcrafter summon from deck's effects are quick effects during the main phase. So you can do it during your opponent's main phase to bring out Aruru. Also, very surprised, by the way, they don't have any rank 8 stuff going on. The Magistus versions are also rank 4s, so there's not even crossover there. It's very weird. But yeah.
Yeah.
So Aruru is a decent card. She has the ability to basically protect your opponent, protect your cards by targeting a card, bouncing it, returning, and summoning, herself out. But still, not the greatest card, and not having enough payoff. But it's an option you can use for interruption. It works on your turn as well if your opponent is like, oh, you've normal summoned, your opponent tries to be like, oh, Valor Vare, Valor Schmidta. Actually, Schmidta and all the others from main deck tribute, so Valor doesn't work. But, like, you try to summon something and your opponent tries to go, like, Compulse or Phoenix Wingwind Blast or something, bounce it back. You can just be like, aha, Aruru, I extend. but still, it's not perfect. So, Konami has dabbled out, like I said, one little bit more bit of support. They did do one extra thing going on here. Because they gave them a fusion monster, which is funny. And I think does kind of make sense. Oh, also, hold on a minute. Wait a minute, that's very fucking funny. Konami, did you forget a card? Sorry, the card I'm about to pull up is Witchcrafter Vice Madame. Vice Master in the original Japanese. I think Vice Madame makes a little more sense. She explicitly references a level 6 or lower monster.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have one of the. They don't have a level 6 monster left. It goes Adel at 5 and Hain at 7. I'm like, Konami, did you forget the support?
Yeah, it was like, are they future-proofing or did they just forget?
I think they're future-proofing, but yeah. So, basically, the story of this, very briefly mentioned in EX Book 2, is the Witchcrafters are about to receive a new client. And as they do, they realize Ver is gone. She has left a note, and thus Hain has to be in charge, even though supposedly Hain is not good at official events. So this is Vice Master. Vice Madame.
She looks so her hand. She's so afraid.
Yeah. She's very nervous. So I'm gonna double check this, but this art has supposedly been altered from the Japanese, but I'm not sure how. Is it like?
Is it hiding Jenny ass or something?
Oh no. In the original Japanese, I think. Am I looking at this right? Yeah, that's the TCG version. Oh, you're fucking killing me, Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki. I'm clicking on the OCG version. Stop replacing it. It's like auto-redirecting me. Fuck, I'll have to open it in a new tab. God, why is this so much of a pain in the ass? Yes, sorry.
I'm forgetting the gem girl's name, but like I love it. Just like
Adel,
looking at all these, looking at all these bills. It's like, how the fuck?
This also makes me once again wonder if she might be related to Ver. If she's like, Ver's daughter or niece or something. She's just like, where the fuck did she go?
Not pay any of these. Granny not pay any of these.
What the fuck? Jenny has some side boob in the OCG version. This little bit of cloth here is like cut a little closer to her front. I don't even know if it technically counts as side boob. You can see like more of the side of her torso and armpit, which Konami is usually upset about. I also want to say I don't know if it's just the angle. This makes Hain look like she's gone up a cup size.
Yeah.
Like she seems. I think it might just be because we're looking at her from like the down angle, so she like looks larger in the space, or the artist may have just drawn her thicker. But yes, there's a lot of fun detail going on. She's got her staff, you got the backdrop, everybody, lesbians detected. Jenny and Hain are holding hands. It's adorable.
In that case, I don't even know that. I think it's more just she's like losing her shit.
Yeah.
But the lesbian detective is a joke.
Fair.
People do like to read into stuff, but also I will say, sometimes people are dumb. Like, I think some people try to be like, "Oh, the live twins are just sisters."
I mean,
I don't think so. There's some bridal carrying involved.
Like it's the fandom beef things. You don't know because it's like, is it like the performative thing or not?
But yeah, so like I said, all we really know about this rate is Ver has fucked off and left Hain in charge, and Hain doesn't want to be in charge because she's. Let me read how the translation is phrased because it's awkward. The entry, by the way, is named Valuable Book EX. Hain struggles acting as the madam. She's nowhere to be found. Amidst the chaos operation, I am Madam Hain is good. We set up Hain as the head of the guild. Hain, who keeps fumbling this major role, will be able to overcome a difficult situation. So yeah, the idea is that like she's not good at leadership stuff. Even though they're voting to like put her in. We do have some concept art for this, so you can see kind of like the loose sketch of the start. That does give you the original art. You can see that, like I said, there's like a little bit of like armpit and close to the side action there. You can also see her costume, in the details. They've like given her like there's like feather wrap and cape with some of the glass.
The fucking sweat drop on the face is.
Yes, she's
great.
So nonplussed.
Yeah.
So, like I said, Vice Madam is a Dark Fusion spellcaster. Their first official extra deck monster. She's level 8. She has 2,700 attack and 2,800 defense. Her materials are 1 Witchcrafter monster plus a spellcaster monster, so very easy to make in archetype, but also easy to make if you were splashing Witchcrafters for some ungodly reason. When a spell card or effect or a non-fusion spellcaster monster's effect is activated, quick effect. Activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect once per turn. Destroy a card on field, non-targeting. Special summon a level 6 or lower Witchcrafter monster from your hand or deck. Add a Witchcrafter spell trap from your graveyard to your hand. So, Vice Madame is a pretty good, I won't say like boss monster, but a pretty good playmaker for the deck. She is your ace, your core card now, because she has basically 3 once per turn effects to do a non-targeting pop, which is like Hane but better, to summon a guy from anybody from your hand or deck, which, you know, really helps unfuck a lot of your cards anyway.
I have been fucked by this card in Master Duel.
Yes, and she is an MD, by the way, if you're wondering, chat. But yeah, so, like, also, I apologize if I end up, like, suddenly stopping or speaking weird. I overheated my own pizza in the microwave, and I have burned the back of my mouth a little bit.
Ooh.
I was too eager. So, you know, I got a little bit of the outermost layer of skin is a little tingly, a little blistery right now.
While Omega's mouth is killing him, I just want to quickly say I checked, I opened up EDO Pro to have a look at the card art. The Synchro guy, Magistus, I can only, and this is a weird stretch, it looks like he invokes fucking Fire King power.
I mean, it does kind of look like that.
It looks a lot like it. That's the only thing I can think of. But, again, shrug. He becomes like a weird fiery bird guy.
Or something, yeah. Anyway, so, Madame is cool. She's not enough to, like, make this a good deck. They probably need more explicit extra deck monsters, like, I don't know. I mean, they can already play a rank 8 package. The problem is that I don't think they emphasize that enough. Like, pre-existing rank 8s don't do anything for the deck. Like, you can already set up shit so you don't have to worry about, you know, spell card activations. You don't need to make Hope Harbinger or anything like that. You know. They don't have enough evenly spaced levels to play like a rank 4 package or anything, other than if you splash in some Magistus stuff. Which I do think is a strategy you can do, and we'll probably talk about that more with Magistus when we get there. But they don't have quite enough payoff. For starters, basically this is one of those cases where, like, Konami assumes that for you to do this deck correctly, you must be summoning like a bunch of extra monsters per turn. Which this deck is not really good at. It's good at a lot of one-for-one trades and replacements. They do have several spell traps we're going to talk about that also let you get guys out. Vice Madame is one of those cards. She can summon another. But the problem is that I think this deck expects you to, like, be able to, like, put both Vare and Vice Madame on field and have a Ruru in hand and also have a bunch of spell cards with a different name in your hand so that you can beat over an opponent's Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Yeah, it expects you to be able to just, like, be able to combo off, but have nothing interrupt you.
And, like, yes, they're really, really, like, this deck is amazing at graveyard setup. And that does help them a lot, but it's one of those things where it's like, I feel like Konami hasn't quite figured out the monster philosophy for Witchcrafters yet. I would say give them a level 6 that can preferably special summon itself, and then also probably has, like, Adel's effect to discard a spell to summon from hand as well. So you have less bricking. You know, shit like that. And maybe figure out some way to get them some more extra deck monsters that make sense. Though, like I said, now that they officially have a fusion monster, that's even more reason to play Magicalized Fusion, which lets you banish from Grave. It's Dragon's Mirror, but for spellcasters. So that you can make Vice Madame, but also could make Quintet Magician. But let's talk about their spell traps. Some of these we'll probably breeze through, but some of them we might take longer because they are actually have a lot of detail and character to them. Also, by the way, I think these guys are missing a field spell, which is funny because, chat, you're probably going to, if you don't know this deck, going to assume that this card is their field spell. Witchcrafter by Street. It's not.
I thought that was a field spell.
Nope, this is a continuous spell, Loth.
God damn it.
It's really good, though. Like, I love all these little details. You can see all their little shops in the shopping district, and there's a little clay guy escaping from Pottery. But like you've got like the blue crystal, you know, for where Vare is. You've got, you know, the spell counter symbol for Jenny, etc.
Yep.
There's like 7 here, actually.
Yeah. All these different colors.
I guess that's why they don't have more, but they could still make, I don't know, the street around the corner.
I mean, also because this includes the nod to Jenny. Oh, actually, no, they pre-planned this. This was in the original block. Okay.
Yeah.
That said, like I said, they could still do some work with like extra decks and like different variations and stuff. Just do the thing Loth suggested. Make like a level, make a rank 8 Xyz or a level 9 synchro that's just Vare standing on Aruru's shoulder, doing the Gynax pose.
Yeah.
When the Witchcrafters most needed her, Vare returned.
I have paid the bills. We have water again.
I kind of really want to see like fucking Witchcrafter tax collector.
That would be so. That would be because they have some funny names for some of these cards. That would be so funny to like just a card art of like Adel throwing the scrolls at Vare and her just furiously signing all of them. Witchcrafter receipt. Anyway, By Street's simple but cute. I like this art. This is a very important card, though. This is one of them spell cards you need. This is one of their continuous spells. It says, first of all, first time each Witchcrafter monster you control will be destroyed each turn by battle or card effect. It isn't. So this gives you blanket protection once per turn. Very good for this kind of stuff. You can use one of the following effects once per turn and only once that turn. Or you can use only one of the following effects per turn and only once that turn. If a Witchcrafter would discard to activate, you can send this card instead. During your end phase, you control Witchcrafter while this card's in your graveyard. Place this card in your phase of spell and trap zone. So, this end phase effect is something you're going to see a lot. Witchcrafter cards either return themselves to your hand or place themselves back in your spell trap zone. So, you don't care that you're discarding like 9 spell traps per turn. You're just going to replace them. So, By Street gives you protection. Once per turn, you can use it instead of discarding, so you get to actually, you know, get its other effects. Now, keep in mind, you can only use one effect that turn, so you can't do the same turn, send, and then return, recycle. But because it places in your spell trap, it's very easy to go, on your opponent's turn, do a discard effect, don't discard, send By Street, and then add it back on your turn. So a very tight resource loop. And then this card art, we may actually have some more to talk about the art, because this is, I joked about its name earlier. This is Witchcrafter Collaboration, showing you how the ladies work. Also, I think Vare's face is stuck in that expression.
Yeah.
I think it's a chemical body.
Well, I think it's magic. She's
the winds of change.
So Schmida and Vare are collaborating. They're mixing, you know, metals and glasswork together. Got some molten stuff together. Also, you can see that Schmida's staff ends in what look like, yeah, they're kind of like tongs or tin snips, but also that makes a spear point.
I feel like her arm's probably a lot of strain, like holding it, because like it's not the length's not kind of awkward.
Yeah, but you know, you gotta practice magic. But yeah, so they're just chilling. They're doing stuff. Love the way this like the molten metal going around the glasses is looking. Real solid stuff. Witchcrafter Collaboration is a perfectly normal spell card. Target a Witchcrafter you control. They can make an second attack during the battle phase. Also, if it attacks this turn, your opponent can't activate spell traps till the end of the damage step, so it becomes an Armades. Actually, no, it's more of a Ancient Gear Golem, but still. During end phase, you control a Witchcrafter monster. If this card in your graveyard, add it to your hand. You can only use one effect per turn and only once that turn. So, yeah, a lot of them are going to have that only one effect per turn thing. So, you know, you can add them back to your hand if you send them, but you can't use them that same turn. Collaboration is okay. The problem is that, as we've discussed, Witchcrafters are not known for their exceptionally high attack value.
Yeah.
The biggest you can get is 28 on Aruru. So, like, 2 attacks can help you clean up the board, but... Yeah.
I guess this is if you've already been set up with, having, fuck, I forgot her name, but the smug lolly already on field. Dude,
Yeah.
Battle trick.
Yeah, Verita Battle Trick. Aruru is just big, that kind of stuff. So it's very interesting to see all these things going on. The main thing is you probably still run one of them because you need more names that you can send to your graveyard. But yeah, it's an odd one. So this is the other Wombo Combo card they got in Magnificent Mavens. And this art is phenomenal. This is Witchcrafter Confusion Confession. It was just Witchcrafter Confusion in the OCG, but I like the Confusion Confession.
You know, I love this because it shows everything.
Yes.
She feels betrayed and is afraid.
Yes.
Jenny is like is airing because she wrote all of the receipts.
She's just like, what
and
the
Vera's
fuck?
like, how did Granny fucking leave?
Yeah. Adel's like, what the fuck? Schmidt is just like, calm down now. Also, by the way, you talked about how Schmidt looks really young. She looks much older in this, even though like her eyes aren't open. Like she's got like, I don't know, her facial features are drawn a little different, and she's got like extended eyelashes.
Not softer.
Yeah.
Kind of soft.
Sorry, little Clay goes just like, what?
And is just having a Bochi moment.
Like this is great. This is a great.
That's a Bochi expression.
Yeah, we're doing it. Yeah.
I like the two young ones in the background, just like, what's going on?
What?
Yeah, I mentioned that Clay girl.
Yeah, Pottery and Pitre.
I just
painter.
I had picked up their names well, so.
So this is a normal spell card, which says fusion summon a fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as material, including one Witchcrafter monster. During your end phase, if you control a Witchcrafter monster while this card's in your graveyard, add it back to your hand. You can only use one Confusion Confession effect per turn, and once that turn. So they now have an in-archetype fusion spell. Sadly, that only makes Vice Madam at the moment, but that's still a pretty decent one.
Yeah, I mean it's with the way it's described, giving me big feels about similar vibes to the fucking Dragon Maid fusion spell.
Yeah,
that one will always come back no matter what you do.
Well, you do get a bounce back for it, but can I get a filter of spellcasters that are fusions?
There's not many. There's a few, but not many.
I mean, I could open EDO Pro, I guess, but then I'd have to like deal with the fact that it wouldn't be muted.
I mean, okay, I'll open it up.
Because, like, obviously you can make Quintet. Quintet is just 5 spellcaster monsters.
Monster, Fusion, Spellcaster, Quintet, Valiance, no. Supreme Arcanite Magician, but that requires a synchro.
Yeah. Which I think like I said, I think if you kit bash Magistus, there's a way to make that, but still not super great.
I mean, if you have a dragon, you can make Mysterion the Dragon Crown.
I mean, there's probably a way to do that, but Mysterion the Dragon Crown isn't super good. That's basically that card I feel like exists because the OCG banned Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and then just didn't. We had to make the budget version, which is not that great.
You can't even make the Great Double Casted Caster. You should look at this fucking card out for this fusion spellcaster, because you can tell it's just 2 kids with a trench coat.
Yeah, the double caster. I've.
You can't even make Grand Granol, the Dusk Dragon, because you need Ecclesia.
Yeah.
You can't even make Sandwich. Wow, yeah, basically you could only make a...
So I feel like there's room in the like, you know, the space. God, what do you... Sorry, I'm just like, I know Konami has like, oh, well, one, I didn't spell it correctly, but I dropped an S. Wow, Konami, you were bad at SEO. If I search for Yu-Gi-Oh! Database, I get the fucking card lists for the OCG? Oh, no, okay, this is it. It's just they have a weird redirect. Okay. Let me... card search. Show me all spellcasters, which are fusions. Let's see.
Be prepared for a lot of
Shadow,
dark
two
magicians.
shadows. Shadow plus a dark. I mean, I guess you could make Winda. You just run a shadow in here as a, starter. Dark Cavalry, Dark Paladin, Neos Kluger. That won't work. Okay, Guardians, no. Nope. No. There's only 3 pages of these. No, it's another Dark Magician fusion. That's Relinquished fusion.
I meet someone, I summon 2 Usher to window, they surrender.
I mean, I feel like I guess you could put a fucking Dark Magician like package in here so you could make the Dark Magicians. You could make Time Wizard of Tomorrow if you wanted to run Time Wizard. But yeah, no, there's only 26 Spellcaster Fusion monsters. Most of which are archetype locked. Also, most of which are Dark Magician cards we've already talked about.
And one of them requires non-effect monsters, which is really weird.
Yeah, doesn't do anything in this until they make like a weird vanilla Witchcrafter.
Vanilla level 6? Ugh. Oh.
No, it doesn't have to be a level 6. I would just give them a vanilla level 4 that's got 2k attack. Check this out.
No.
Actually, I guess
but
it's
it's basically just the
Clavis?
It's just the shopkeep.
Are Magickeys all spellcasters?
Actually,
no, they're all over the place. Okay, Clavis is a warrior. Yeah. I was wondering if you could run Magicke in here. No, there's no crossover.
You need normals as Clavis for it.
Well,
yeah. Make it clearly Fortune Ladies and Witchcrafters.
So no, it doesn't work. So yeah, no, I think the card's cool. I feel like, and again, I don't know how we've talked a lot. I don't know how like internal politics or like ramp ups to card releases work and shit. But like, I feel like the way the attention of the secret shiny box has been doled out unequally. Sky Strikers got a manga and have gotten like 10 more cards, plus they got linkage out of, and Hamp, which isn't the greatest, but linkage is really good, out of that setup, Secret Shiny Box, what became Magnificent Mavens. Witchcrafter got a couple of cards which very clearly are supposed to flow into more support, which has not appeared yet, and it's been like a year or two. Kind of the same with Mayakashi. That, at least, I think that the cards they got are more self-contained.
Yes.
Like, they just give them extra things to do. Like, giving Witchcrafter a fusion spell and a fusion monster that is future-proofed against level 6s that don't exist is like, okay, I feel like there should be more here. Anyway, sadly, we must move on.
Similar, they pulled a lucky and just installed themselves mid-sentence.
Kind of.
We should have a level 6 fuck.
We should have a level 6 fuck. At which point Lucky would be like, yes, I know, I stopped myself. Anyway, Witchcrafter Creation. Showing you more collaboration. Pitori's head still looks too big.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, they're...
It's adorable, though.
Yeah, they're collaborating. Well, they're creating.
Oh my god, it is a mouth. I thought it was a mustache.
Yeah, it is a mouth. At least on this guy, it's a mouth. But yeah, so...
Pretty sure it's the same guy.
Pottery makes little clay guys, and then Pitori is coloring them. So you've got the dinosaur is green now, the little rabbit dog thing is yellow, one of the slime blobs is red, there's a different slime blob who's blue. There's a greenish one back there. So yeah, it's just neat. Shows them working together, making stuff, coloring your clay. It's cute.
Yep.
So, creation is Rhoda, basically. Add a Witchcraft from your deck to your hand. During your end phase, you can add it back. So, creation, very important card. You're playing, 3 of it. Search any Witchcrafter. Like, one of the few cases with the spell cards so far where you can say that you unambiguously absolutely have, 3. Yeah, this is another decent card, but not the greatest. This is Witchcrafter Draping. Showing Hayne getting her, girl boss on. Also, I think we can officially say it is kind of a JoJo reference because you can see the back of her Jotaro type cap is also equally fucked up.
And
Yeah,
she's pulling
it's meant to hair blend.
Go ahead, love.
I just said she's pulling a pose.
Yes, she's posing. The hat is weird. If you don't get that, just find any shot of Jotaro from behind. The hat is his hair.
Apologies if it's difficult to hear me due to fan. It's hot.
You are a little muffled, but hopefully it's okay. People let me know.
Australia is trying to kill me.
As always. But people let me know if you think Loth is a little too quiet. I can, boost him in Discord a little.
I'll try to fix up my mic.
But yeah, so Draping is a quick play spell. Target spell traps your opponent controls up to the number of Witchcrafters you control. Return those to the hand. During the end phase, if you control Witchcrafter, you can add this back. So Draping being a quick play is okay to, do some stuff. The main thing I want to say is that, depending on what your opponent is doing, the timing of those can be kind of annoying. Obviously, there are some field spells that say you can only activate one per turn. But using it on your opponent's turn to, interact with, pendulum scales or continuous spells, useless. But using it in your opponent's end phase to be all right, I set 5, and then you're just okay, I'm going to bounce those 3 back. But again, this card requires you to have summoned a lot of Witchcrafters out at once, which is hard to do. If you could play Witchcrafter Soul Charge, I think Draping would be better and more flexible, but I don't think they have, just summon as many as you'd like. They do have a special. Oh, hey, this is actually a reference to future stuff here. This is Witchcrafter Holiday. So, yeah, Ver is a freak, and she sleeps in, a crystal bubble bed suspended from the ceiling.
That fucking mouth shape.
And once again, you can see Adel down there, very annoyed, and Schmidt being calm down.
I'm getting the impression that Schmidt is Vera's apprentice, and that actually is just related to her.
I could definitely see that. Especially because Adel is
Vera taught her everything she knew.
Yeah. And then we see Schmidt and Vera working together directly in collaboration. So I'm just imagining that Adel is if you don't get down here right now, I'm gonna throw a rock up there. And then Schmidt's no, don't do that. It'll cause a huge mess. By the way, I don't know what the fuck they're on, but you previously asked how big Vera's room is. Look at the depth of field.
I think she made a TARDIS.
Right?
I think she made a giant class tower that's bigger inside it actually is. I think it's
also.
Actually, you can look at the window. I think it's I think it's the top floor of her building that she just built extra floors on.
Something.
So also you can see there is a glass staircase leading up to this.
So she can get up to her weird hammock bed. No. But yeah. So Vera is obviously very good at what she does because she's been able to construct multiple goddess statues to beat everybody up and de-aged herself and shit. But also very clearly eccentric.
She acts like a little. She acts like a little girl, which is maybe why she de-aged herself, so she could get away with it.
Yeah. So Witchcrafter Holiday, which by the way in the OCG is named Witchcrafter Sabotage. Very weird. I think Holiday works a little better.
Someone called her a little gremlin, and she took that.
But that's just Monster Reborn for Witchcrafters. Target Witchcrafter in your graveyard, special summon it. During your end phase, you can put it back. So, a very important card, especially because the girls that tribute themselves, can go to graveyard and come back.
Yeah.
Still only, it's a hopped summon from graveyard. All right. And now here's another, I think, important backdrop card.
Omega burnt his mouth with leftover pizza. I ordered pizza because I couldn't grab food before stream started.
This is Witchcrafter Masterpiece. So in this you can see... Sorry. Caught my hand on a cord there. You can see, it's hard to see because of the lighting, but you can see the rough outline of the Aruru Golem, doll body. Once again, it's showing some joints. And you can see, Hane, Adel, and Ver all working on it.
Vern came up on her glass stairs, Haynes on, like, fabric.
Yeah.
And then Adel is on the glass tree or diamond tree.
Yeah. Because you got to be up there because it's very tall.
Well, it looks like Hayne and Adel, just rose up. Vern looks like she's just like, fuck it, I'll walk up.
Yeah. So, masterpiece is in a normal trap. It says if you control a witchcraft or monster, target a spell in either graveyard, add one card with the same name from your deck to your hand. During either player's turn, except the card that's sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card and any number of spells from your graveyard, especially summon a witchcrafter who's from your deck, whose level is equal to the number of spells banished. You can use this effect once per turn. So this has been a card that has been in Witchcrafter, like, since they incepted. It was in Infinity Chasers. When it first came out, I think it fucking sucked. What are you going to do? Banish 8 spells to summon Ver? Almost a quarter of your deck? No. Actually, a fifth, probably, of your deck. 8 cards. No. What you're probably going to do is, once they release Jenny, who is a 1-star monster, you can banish 1 spell to summon 1 Jenny. That's fine. That works a lot better. I will say, honestly, while it is a normal trap, so you do need setup time, I think that this card is a lot better in the world of cards like Talents and Thrust. Like, the 2 triple tactic cards, which are very well played, Also, any spell. So, like, with Change of Heart coming back, shit like that. There's a lot of flexibility that you will actually be able to, like, target your opponent's generic, board breaker spells and get them back. You could target cards like Raigeki, Lightning Storm, etc.
What's that? You hit me with Darkhold. It's a good thing I have my own.
Same for, like, any pot card they've used. Like, if they used a pot to draw something, you can, search one of your own. The problem is that this is a card that is probably only good on turn 3, and while people exaggerate that Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't usually get that far, if you are making it to a turn 3, it probably means you are engaging in a lot more back and forth, and Masterpiece is not interactive enough for that. Also, I want to say, Witchcrafter has a great resource loop. I don't think Witchcrafter is great at the grind game. They recycle a lot of spell cards, but a lot of their spell card effects are perfectly normal. Like, okay, cool, I have a fusion spell. I have a Monster Reborn. I have a Rhoda, If there was, like, a Witchcrafter Raigeki, which I don't think there is. We've only got, like, 3 of these left. No, I don't think any of these are, like, blow up a bunch of monsters, Or, God forbid, if there was a Witchcrafter card that was like, oh, I'm gonna, Draping lets you bounce spell traps, right? Imagine if there was a Witchcrafter quick play that was like, banish cards from your opponent's graveyard up to the number of Witchcrafters you control. Basically be like a Bestial for Witchcrafters. Like, that'd be a lot meaner. That would be a good payoff. That would give you things to do in the grind game. You don't really have a lot of those. So, like, Masterpiece is cool in concept and got better as like I said, it's a card that if you put it in your graveyard, you can banish it and 1 spell to summon Jenny to get, like, a guy into rotation, which is something this deck is bad about. But it definitely feels like it's a card that, like, the deck needs more teeth. It needs to be scarier.
Yeah, right now it just looks like a weird engine that isn't an engine.
Yeah, the problem is that, like, because I think Witchcrafter has room for what you would call non-engine, for generic support and stuff. The problem is that the Witchcrafter itself is just the side engine. So this is Witchcrafter Patronus. And in case you're like, whoa, is that a reference to that one franchise we don't talk about anymore? No. Patronus is the Latin word for patron, as in, patron of your arts.
And that looks a lot like Vern before the change.
I don't know if it's supposed to be. I think it might just be a generic spellcaster, because, remember, Ver still had blue hair.
Why does this feel like this is them going through her house now she's gone?
It could be.
And
I feel like I feel like this is the younger members like Pottery and Pitore like asking the older two, because I feel like Adel and Schmidt are kind of the middle generation. They're like, hey, who the fuck's that? And that's like, oh, that's the patron, the founder of our guild.
It's Granny.
But like I said, I don't think it's actually literally there because the colors don't match up.
God,
but
I kind of wish they made like a one-shot manga for this, because I feel like it'd be fun at least to like, see it expressed.
Also, then we get a fuck ton more cards as seen by Sky Striker. Anyway.
Like that ain't
Whatever,
like a full
anyway.
thing, just like a 60-page one thing, you know?
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, the part of the reason why Sky Striker is getting 9 billion cards is because it is a currently running spin-off manga. Talking about them doing, spin-off stuff more. I appreciate the concept. I'm just upset that it's Sky Striker, which is, like, honestly, like, Sky Striker's lore isn't even really that original. It's very normal. There are quite a lot of anime and manga in that genre already, and half the cards they release with it aren't even that good, though some of them are. And it's just kind of like, okay, I wish we were doing this for more creative decks. Anyway, Patronus is a continuous trap card. It says you can target one of your spellcaster monsters that's banished in your graveyard, shuffle it in your deck, add a witchcrafter spell from your deck to your hand. So this lets you recycle banished cards as well as graveyard cards. If this card's in your graveyard except the turn it was sent there, you can banish it, target any number of your banished witchcrafter spells with different names, add them back to your hand. You can use each effective Patronus once per turn. So Patronus, this came out in 2020. This was part of their like little bit of legacy support, like when Jenny came out. Also, yes, as Caesar set out, all you need to do to make Sky Striker good is put Engage to 3, and then it's probably like a decent engine. God forbid you actually give them more Link monsters. So fucking Linkage is a Linkage is a powerful card. But yeah, no, Patronus is one of their other bits of legacy support. It's good. It's fucking good. Like, you can target any spellcaster you have that's banished in your graveyard and shuffle it back to add a witchcrafter spell. Good, thumbs up. There are probably generic spellcasters you play in this deck. Also, if it's in your graveyard, you can banish it to recycle all of your banished spells that have different names. So, like, no, very solid card.
So yeah, sorry, just had a quick look back at really own a Magicalized of Ver, and yeah, same with still got the same cloak. She's on a fucking glass swing. So
really own has always been extra.
Yeah.
Went slightly too far, but here we go. Okay. This is another case like By Street where like this card art is very normal, but the card is actually important. This is Witchcrafter Scroll. This is basically somebody did like a zoom-in redraw of, Jenny's desk. Though, again, this card was in Infinity Chaser, so I think they always probably planned on including a card like Jenny.
Sorry, we need the Soyjack point at the fucking spell counter.
Yeah, they've got a spell counter, they've got some other, I think these, like, blue things look vaguely Endymion-themed, and they've got some scrolls. The scrolls have the Witchcrafter seal on them. Just perfectly normal.
Yeah, look at it. I don't know why Ver DH'd herself. Sorry.
I feel like it's a fugitive thing. Like, she felt like she had to go out the lab so Endymion and Alistair couldn't find her.
Couldn't force her to stay, unless it was her fault.
Well, who knows? It could be her fault.
I don't want to be associated or recognized with these fuckos. So.
Yeah. But so Scroll's another continuous spell card that's very important. Once per turn, when your spellcaster monster destroys a monster by battle, draw a card. That will occasionally happen, so it's a decent one. And then you can use falling effects once per turn and only one of them per turn. If a Witchcrafter you control would discard, you can send it just like By Street. If your end phase, if it's in your graveyard, you can put it in your face up in your spell trap zone just like By Street. So Scroll and By Street are both cool. They're good to like keep your consistency engine. Like I said, this is the thing, right? And I think Dallas has talked about this before. We've talked about Witchcrafter in a vacuum. Witchcrafter is like the most consistent engine you will ever find. You are fucking constantly ditching spell cards, adding back spell cards, summoning whatever the fuck you like out of your deck. These cards special summon from deck mind, most of them. You've got, once per turn destruction protection. You can fucking draw extra cards, once per turn. Soft once per turn, by the way. The once per turn draw is soft. They all place themselves back. The problem is that there's no payoff. There's no meat to this archetype other than, like I said, jamming out a Quintet Magician. Like, even Vice Madam doesn't win you the game, so it's really interesting how Konami has built, like, a perfectly functional, self-contained archetype that just doesn't go anywhere. And that's always been kind of the problem with some some of these themed archetypes is that, like, okay, cool, you have the greatest, most consistent engine in the world. Technically, because of your spell cards, you've got, like, multiple, you know, like, avenues and combo lines. But then you just, okay, cool, you made Vare, you made Aruru, nice, neat.
This actually makes me curious. I when I get the chance, I should try to lab out some witchcrafter, fortune, fairy / lady.
Yeah, you can probably do some nonsense.
Oh my god, I didn't realize.
Okay, so this is our final card. This is our thumbnail. This is Witchcrafter Unveiling, called Witchcraft Demonstration in the OCG. You have probably seen this memed on the internet with, like, the parental advisory sticker in the corner, because it does kind of look like the cover of Vare's rap album.
Yeah.
Because,
like, it's like her diss track.
Yeah, she's, like, got an arm crossed pose. I like this contrast with the two members. Hayne is very much not into hitting a pose, but, like, Jenny fucking loves to hit the pose. Look at her.
Yeah.
She is so happy to be here.
Everything so far involving Jenny is she just has only enthusiasm, because it seems like she had to be very stoic for her former job.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
And then, obviously, it's called Demonstration or Unveiling because they're showing off, hey, look, we made a giant magical robot.
Just, even just the fact that she still got the W face, but just, like, with the angle, you can see part of the mouth open. It just looks like she's about to start spitting fire at people.
Yes. No. This
Also,
is a great
like,
card art. There's a reason why I picked it as the thumbnail.
Also for Hayne, it's a weird thing of being, like, she's the fashionista that makes all her magic clothing, yet she seems like she does not like being part of public events.
Yeah.
Which is, I think,
Maybe
I
she
guess
has
the
stage
irony.
fright.
That is a trope you see every now and again. Whoever has played Animal Crossing has seen the Able sisters. One of them is just like, no, I don't want. I'm too shy to talk to people.
Sorry, so yawn. Ugh. We are almost done. So Unveiling is another quick play spell card. It says special summon a Witchcrafter from your hand, and if you do, your opponent can't activate cards or effects in response to the activation of any of your spellcaster monster effects the rest of this turn. During your end phase, you can add it back. So, Unveiling, which also came out in Eternity Code, which does mean that you know, they had a little bit of legacy support in 2020, didn't go anywhere. I think we're overdue for another round, but anyway, Unveiling does kind of help you fix your hand bricking problem, because you can just be like, fuck you, Unveiling. Special summon Vare or Adel or Hayne from my hand, and also means that means your opponent is, like, semi-Armades. But again, like I said, I looked through all these spell traps and stuff, and it's like, okay, what is the spell payoff? Like, I get that they don't want to make them too strong because they are recyclable, right? But you can only use one effect per turn, and only once that turn. So, like, if you gave them hypothetically, like, Witchcraft or Raigeki, like, you know, destroy a number of monsters your opponent controls equal to the number of Witchcrafters you control or something. Okay, cool. So you can get that back every turn?
My biggest problem whenever it comes to Konami and, like, we gotta make sure we don't make this too overpowered is just the sheer fact that Telements and Castillo exist. Like, they just said, fuck it. And
yeah.
I'm like,
and there's some other cases. And I mean, obviously some of those grind out a little, like Versus Soul is good in the OCG. Again, I feel like Versus Soul is going to be kind of like Dragon Maid, where it's only good in the OCG because Max C is an Earth, which means it synergizes with the deck. But like, they got a couple of cards to support. Like, they were really helped by their extra main deck monster Jiaolong, because that's a fire. Which is good because that lets you get to Raisin, who is your important normal summon in that deck. But also, Jiaolong has an effect that says if you reveal it as part of a Versus Soul effect, special it. And it's like a level 6 with like 2300 attack. So, like, that's just good. So, like, there are decks that are really good and really pushed now, but are pushed because of extra support. But yeah, Konami, I think, is trying to, like, ratchet down the power level in regular Yu-Gi-Oh! A little. Because, like, let me pull up, like, let's see, what's the card list in Phantom Nightmare right now?
I don't believe it, honestly. It's one of those like, they pushed the envelope too far. Can't trust them.
I mean, you can say you don't trust them, but like, I think in general, like, because they've banned out a lot of the cash and tier limit cards to ratchet it down. So we've got the Goblin Bikers. They're not Goblin Riders. They're Goblin Bikers. They said that's coming out, and I think those are okay. We do have the Spirit of Yubel stuff. There's the Horus Black Flame Retrain, Black Flame Deity.
Oh yeah. Forgot about the
we're getting our Aroma. Oh shit!
Is the Mementos part of that, or were they already released?
No, Mementos is already released. Those are Valiant Smashers. That's the TCG pack that just came out. Aroma. I'm talking about the latest OCG set, Phantom Nightmare, which has Yubel on the cover. No, Aroma was a core set. Okay, so Aroma's not a deck build pack, so we're not going to talk about that. Okay. Let's see. We got like
as much as you would like to.
Berserk
we can throw it on the list at some point.
I do like it, But there's the Aroma list.
Patreon poll, people.
Oh, that will work. I've also checked the poll because it should be over. But yeah, like I'm looking at the deck list for what we call Phantom Nightmare in the OCG. Obviously, it will be bigger as a TCG set. They'll probably introduce some world premiere archetypes.
Well, think about
forgetting
her name.
There's no like brand new archetypes in this that are going to be crazy good. The Goblin Bikers are decent, and they interface with the Snake Eye Diabellstar like package.
Yeah, Diabellstar with like I don't think it overlaps with Memento. Memento's a separate thing entirely.
Yes, no, Memento is completely separate. Memento monsters.
Memento Mori.
Memento monsters are from Valiant Smashers. The third archetype in that is Valmonica.
What? Sorry, you cut out.
Valmonica. They're a pendulum archetype.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about them eventually. Yeah, the Goblin Bikers are funny. The art design for Goblin Bikers has the energy I want out of a Yu-Gi-Oh archetype. They're fucking, fantasy goblins with riding monsters, but they're in like Mad Max biker gear. So that's perfectly fine.
Okay, yeah, I just had a look at this. I thought it was like, when you said Goblin Riders, I assumed it was going to be like Goblin, that's just a biker gang as a one card. I didn't realize it was its own thing.
And the only thing, like right now, I think actually it does seem like Konami is going to be aiming for Legacy support, because the next set we know is Legacy of Destruction, and Gandora is the cover card. Gias Gandora. So yeah, we'll see. But it does seem like Konami is currently in like a ratcheting down phase. We're trying to like broaden the game with like the inclusion of Illusion and a handful of new Illusion cards every set and shit like that. I am kind of curious if they might, do some more different Legacy support, because and hey knows, we may see some more Witchcrafters this year. Like I said, Konami managed to fucking dig out Aroma support, which is not only is Aroma based, but also the actual cards are like really good. So like they're doing some stuff. But we can get into that in a later point. Let me check the Patreon poll really quick, and then we'll get on out of here for y'all. Because I did have a completely uncontrolled yawn out of nowhere. So I need to, probably to go refresh myself and go about my business. And maybe I'll log into 14 a little today. But I might also just jam some more Scott Pilgrim the video game. Well, hey, the poll results are exactly where I left them, about 7 votes. Maybe I need to start doing a YouTube flash poll. We might get, as I look at, 8 to 9 concurrent viewers, and I think we peaked at 10 concurrents earlier.
Oh.
Well, maybe we need to do that as a YouTube poll. But the results are exactly where I left them last week. So, X, you've done it. Spiral has won.
It turns out, by not caring much anymore, it just works.
Honestly, that sounds like the universe. If you just relax and let it go, it just shows up eventually.
No, I was saying, it's I guess Cray was wrong. Apathy is not death. It is only allowance.
Maybe not. But yeah, no, it's finally come around, and Spiral has won. Quite resoundingly with 4 full votes. So that'll be Is that next week? I feel like we're crazy behind. No, that will be next week. Jeez, no, this is the third Tuesday. Oh, I see. It's because the month started on a Wednesday. So, like, yeah, we've gotten the 4 Tuesdays, and we're almost done with them. So, yeah, Spiral next week. That'll be very interesting because Spiral is a very strong deck.
That caused many, many issues.
Yeah, and parts of it are still banned or limited to this day, though different parts depending on where you're at. But Oakley Dokley, thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, make sure to check out Spirals next week. If you haven't already, go back and watch this week's Final Fantasy VII stream. It's a little longer. We accomplished quite a lot. Stay tuned for Final Fantasy XIV tomorrow. It does seem like we're not doing Alan Wake this week because the Thursday is obviously Thanksgiving, so we're just going to take the week off. You know, because are you guys going to take a break from Thanksgiving dinner to watch Alan Wake? Don't answer that question.
I don't know.
We're just not going to do it. It's fine. We'll be back next week with that. But also, if you want to catch up on our APs, check out Episode 3 of Incident at Benison Island and the finale, Part 4, which is a little shorter. That I will probably throw up Thanksgiving Day as just like a bonus upload to get them both out of there. So, you got a lot of stuff you can check out from us. If you didn't catch all the show, make sure to roll back in the VOD and see the stuff. And we'll see you guys next time.